Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dokkan Battle video, and today we are continuing my saga with the Dragon Ball Saga team. I'm going against all of the Shadow Dragon event fights, and we finally have the hardest fight on global release. Now there's going to be one coming up later on, but global won't get that fight till like December. It'll be like during the Tanabata, like Christmas celebration, that kind of time frame. But for now, this is the hardest event you can do on global. And the reason why this Shenron fight is so hard, it's got 3 phases, but the last 2 phases do AoE attacks, like a lot. And all the phases hit very hard. If you don't have a capable unit, they're going to get stomped. You saw there, what was it, my kid Goku right away was already taking damage from normals, not even double digits, right? So, and he has type advantage here, so not a pushover by any means. And this Dragon Ball Saga team is so good. Yeah, you can see 180k like right away turn 1. Like we're already taking a bunch of damage like immediately. The thing is this Dragon Ball Saga team is so freaking good. I've done several runs on this fight already because we had to get like the Power of Wishes mission done. So I've done like top tier meta teams with like the year 8 Spirit Bomb units, Orange Piccolo, all that stuff. And I'm telling y'all right now, this team felt like the safest, easiest team to get through there. Like, I did not feel in danger with this team like I did with those other teams. Like, those other teams, it's like, I'm relying on Orange Piccolo's Giant Form transformation. I'm relying on, like, revive mechanics, right? Like, dying and getting revived. After using this team so much, it even tells me, like, it further emphasizes how good it is. When I went in here with like these really powerful like carnival units and stuff, and they were taking more damage than the Dragon Ball Saga team. So this team is not to be trifled with, not to be underestimated. I am going to try to beat every single hard event in the game with this team until this team can't do it anymore. And I feel like this team could probably just continue for like an entire calendar year and just beat like every hard event in the game, plus whatever natural support this team might get, which I know there's one coming that I'm hoping will come within the next year. But there you go, first phase done, like very easy. But we have that tech free-to-play Goku that is going to awaken into an LR, and that will be a really good Dragon Ball Saga unit, I'm going to assume. So that'll definitely be like an upgrade we'll get to this team. Really, the only place that this team struggles is if RNG isn't on your side. So it's with like the Tech Bulma and the Int Bulma. If their 70% effects don't proc, that's when you like really get in trouble. And then like Kid Goku not being able to fully tank, you know. But here comes Bulma. So she's tanking, she's type disadvantage, but she's guarding there. So she tanked that super just fine. We're going to take all the normals just fine. What's nice about this team, like I've said this before, physical Kid Goku is actually the weakest defensive unit on the team, which is kind of crazy. And he can tank all of the AoE normals throughout the event just fine. So really what it comes down to with this team is when we get to the final phase is if the final Sin Shenron supers in the wrong spot, or we don't get like an RNG dodge or something that we need. Because the Int Bulma, she actually gets crushed by the AoEs in the last phase, because she's type disadvantaged there. It's just a matter of if her 70% procs. If it procs properly, then we're fine. But that is another like place where I think I struggled with this team, is just RNG wasn't having it. There were runs that I died because she just was not dodging on the last phase, and it was really annoying. But realistically, she should dodge more often than she doesn't at 70%. But she'll take 160k normals in that last phase if she's not dodging. So it's really just timing when we use our Visa. Really, in this event, this is the type of event where you want to try to save both Whis till the end if you can, and either just double Whis right away, or do like a single Whis and kind of stagger them out if the team can survive it. The other part that you'll see it right here, actually. We'll see a group attack here. This is another part that we can get in a little bit of trouble is Yamcha. Yamcha here on this turn, you'll see 41k on that. It's still not the worst, right? Like, it's still fine. But Yamcha is a unit that gets most of his defense on super, and if there isn't a Bulma on rotation, he's not guarding. So on the last phase, if this situation happened on the last phase, Yamcha would be taking a lot of damage there. Luckily, for the most part, Yamcha's usually going to have a Bulma around, and so tanking the normals is usually fine. If he gets supered before he does, he definitely takes a lot of damage, but Yamcha, after supering when guarding with a Bulma, like, he can tank pretty much everything. I have a video of him tanking the Cell Max event, which is one of the hardest hitting bosses in the game still, right? So you see Yamcha there taking normals because he wasn't guarding. Once again, that's usually not a problem. There's literally, that's the only rotation that will once in a while come up, the way I have this team built. But otherwise, now Yamcha is going to be good for the next couple of times he pops up. There will be a Bulma around. Alright, so now STR Bulma's still guarding, which is good. We should be finishing off the second phase of Sin here. So I think we got through this one just fine. But yeah, the AoE, like, it just makes it so you can't hide units. So you have to run a team where every unit is viable or can dodge, right? And that's really what this team is. Every unit is defensively viable or can dodge and has a high enough rate to dodge where you can count on it. So here's the final phase, physical phase here. So this turn right here, this is a turn where, like, I actually feel completely safe, but the only reason I use a Whis here, because I do end up using a Whis, this is a turn, though, I feel like I could no item this turn. But from experience, I know that physical Kid Goku will die on an Omega, or on a Sin Shenron Super here for sure. So I do use a Whis just to give myself the chance that if he happens to Super in that unfortunate spot, that one attack that Kid Goku is, I know I'm going to need the Whis if I want to survive. So I use Whis here. Aider, though, I know will tank everything just fine, whether there's Whis on or not. Especially after taking that normal there and getting his defense up, for sure. The thing that's kind of crazy, I didn't even realize how hard this fight was at first, because my very first run was almost a no-item run. And Kid Goku took a super and, like, got obliterated. But had he not supered in that spot, my very first run would have been a no-item run with this team. After that, after I realized how hard he actually hits, I'm like, all right, well, we got to play it a little bit safer. I want to make sure we just get the run done. And sure enough, Aider gets hit here, so we're 100% good. Once again, even without Whis, Aider takes that like a boss. He's so good. And then we go through Kid Goku getting some clutch dodges, which is nice. I mean, I would have been double digits anyways. The nice thing in the first phase of Sin Shenron is you can lower attack. So like these Kid Gokus, when they multi-super, they lower attack like crazy. The first phase really isn't an issue. It's more the second and third phases that definitely can give you trouble, right? Alright, so we got a nice fat triple from Goku, just putting out like 30 mil damage, no big deal. And my Goku, by the way, I don't know if this one was mine or the friend one, but mine is only like 79%. Like, I gotta get my Goku rainbowed ASAP, dude. I'm using him so much. The next time he shows up, actually, I'm trying to think, is he on the Kale banner? He might be on the Kale banner. I'll have to double check that. If he's on Kale, I'm definitely gonna rainbow him for sure. And I'm going in on Kale, because I like Kale, I like Universe 6. So now we got the really nice Bulma turn here. Once again, this turn seems fine. It's just Kid Goku's going to take a lot in the middle, right? So I transform with Bulma. We're going to get the fat stack for sure. It's going to do big damage. I decided to use the second Whis because I just feel like Kid Goku's taking on too many attacks. And if any of them super, we're like dead. So I opt to use a second Whis. So on this turn, we're actually on double Whis. And then next turn, we have single Whis. So, like, I know for the next two turns we're probably going to be good. And I know Bulma's just going to output a truck ton of damage here. So she's spitting out her, what, 15, 16 mil attacks. There's a 10. She normally will do another one and get a triple. But I got unlucky there and only got the double super. But still very good damage for Bulma. And then Yamcha here's this is Goku. And then the Yamcha is going to be definitely... Yamcha actually shines really well in this last phase because he's always guarding, right? So that trouble turn that I showed you on the AGL phase, that can't actually happen here. Because even if there's not a Bulma, he's always guarding. So Yamcha, I'm actually pretty confident. I would have to test it, but I'm pretty sure Yamcha could tank a Sin Shenron Super without any items here. He for sure could, because he's going to be guarding. And I don't know that he hits harder than Cell Max. Maybe he does. I would have to look at the numbers. But it's got to be close. And I know Yamcha can tank Cell Max. So Yamcha looking really good here, dude. And it's so crazy. I'm getting through the hardest event in the game, and half of my freaking team is free-to-play units. That's how good these free-to-play units are. Not to mention there's another one in Jackie Chun that I could run that would probably be pretty viable. Although this fight would be bad for Jackie Chun because he's type disadvantage in the last phase. But normally, I mean, Jackie Chun with his damage reduction can actually hold up pretty good in Red Zone too. I just like him better on more of a World Tournament type build. This is just my pure Dragon Ball Saga build, and it's just so cohesive. It's exactly how I want my teams to flow. I've got a nice mix of defensive and offensive units. I've got floating supports that are defensively viable. Like, this team just does everything, right? So you can see there, Int Bulma, for whatever reason, her 70% hates procking. They're out procced right there. But that was, what, 170k we took from the AoE. So she definitely, like, there was a run that I was doing really well on, and she literally ate like 3 of those on the last phase without dodging, and I died. It was so annoying. So annoying. Yeah, see, that's what she should be doing. That's 70% right there. Not to mention, I think she's got, not only does she have her built-in, like, 70% dodge, but I'm pretty sure I gave her, like, 30 dodge and in potential as a backup. So she should be dodging, like, nonstop, and she usually does. She just is afraid of Sin. I don't know what it is, because I've had a lot of issues with her dodging in this fight. But that's how Dokkan is, right? There aren't many teams that don't depend on some RNG to get through. So this is no exception. Thank God we had Wisan here. I was really worried we were going to die here. Luckily, we had that Wisan, so 200k and we're fine. That would have been so frustrating, because we're literally like 1 hit away from killing them. Now this one, if it crits, I think we got him, but we didn't crit. So we got to go another turn. So I'm still a little bit nervous. We're not like in the clear, right? Like, he could just come up and super immediately. Now I'm trusting STR Bulma that she can handle. We do have the Goku active skill, so I'm like, all right, well, maybe this will finish him off. And such a pest. He still has a sliver even after critting on that. So like, all right, well, we're going to get some good healing there. I'm like, yeah, we're probably going to be good here. Literally, and it's a Dokkan attack at that. So he would have to super and kill Bulma, and she's probably too tanky for that to happen. So anyways, we take the normal. We're going to finish big here. He was a little pest and didn't want to die, so we're going to absolutely explode him. If we had this on the previous turn, man, we could have taken off a lot of health off of him, because this does a ton of damage. This is a 9 mil attack stat on a Dokkan attack. Remember, it's going to hit very hard. It's going to hit really hard because it's a Dokkan attack. So let's see the damage here from Bulma. Yeah, 15 mil approximately. Absolutely blew up that fight. So there you go. Dragon Ball Saga, dude, is dominating, beating the hardest content in the game. Let me know what you think of this team. Let me know what you've done to beat this Shenron event. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.